breath together. Just relax. Enjoying this space that we love to be in, with the people we love to be with, our spiritual family. Which perhaps might be the only place during the week where we feel completely open and safe to be truly ourselves. For we know that our spiritual family loves us exactly where we are, and also holds our divinity in their hearts, seeing us at our highest and best. For there is no separation between our humanity and our divinity. They are gloriously intertwined. They are one thing. We are one with this presence that is love, unconditional love. We are one with this presence that is the source of all things, that is all things. We are one with the same force that created the heavens and the earth. This wide, inestimable universe. The same force that is all the flora and fauna, the beauty, the harmony, the symphony, the synchronicities of this universe. The same force that flows through these magnificent bodies that we have in this lifetime. These magnificent, intelligent machines. That allow us to navigate through this physical world with grace and ease. So we rest here in this state of grace, the grace that is always present, that is the energy in which we live and move and have our beingness. This is our natural state, this state of grace, of love, of mercy, charity, compassion, strength and power. This world of unlimited possibility. And we know that at each moment we can choose our experience of life, no matter what is going on. In the midst of chaos and strife, we can be peace. In the midst of confusion, we can be wisdom. In the midst of pain, we can find and be comfort. In our grief, we can still feel oneness, knowing there is no void, that nothing is ever lost. In the midst of lack, we can remind ourselves that we live in an opulent universe. And there is a richness of life if we will only let ourselves see it and feel it. So we give thanks for the beauty that is life, the magnificence that is life, that is love, that is God, that is us. So from this deep well of peace and joy and love and oneness, strength and power, we now sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Why did I think I could read this here? I used to be nearsighted, now I'm farsighted. So we'll see how this goes. May not be able to, I know I can do this. Okay. Surgery number 2 is coming up in about 10 days. Oh, a little better. Okay. Jeez. Should have put this up. So this is from, this print's better on the front. 7,000 Ways to Listen by Mark Nepo. Oh my God. Hearing happens. Oh my God. No, I'm good, I think. Hearing happens physically when a signal is generated in the ear that gathers discrete pieces of information from all the senses and sends the aggregate to the brain, which creates a brief and comprehensive sound from it all. What we call listening is actually an innate process that integrates an array of sensations we encounter through different ways of knowing sight, smell, touch, taste, and sound. What we hear is the sum of life's vibration, which constantly arrive, the waves that soak into the perceptual shore that is the oldest tradition call to mind and heart. A vibrant example of such fundamental hearing is Evelyn Glenn, one of the most innovative percussionists in the world today, who is profoundly deaf. She says she lives the rhythms and feels the vibes, the vibrations of the music, not instead of hearing, but as the foundation of all hearing. Her gift comes alive from opening ourselves to where the senses begin as one integrated sense. She views the hearing world's insistence on separating the living whole as a disability. For some reason, we tend to make a distinction between hearing and sound, and feeling and vibration. In reality, they are the same thing. That's an even smaller italics. Oh, fun. It is interesting to note that in the Italian language, the distinction does not exist. The verb sentire means to hear, and the same verb in the reflexive form, sentirisi, means to feel. The gifted percussionist begins beneath her deafness And note, deafness does not mean that you can't hear, only that there is something wrong with the ears. There is great wisdom in this. For we can just as rightly say that numbness or indifference does not mean that you can't feel, only that there is something wrong with the heart. And just as the senses are knit together beneath our sorry attempts to isolate them, so are the muscles of the mind-heart: joy, sorrow, wonder, pain, acceptance, and more. Perhaps our want to separate and pull apart what we can't understand is a spiritual disability. The art of listening may be to gather meaning from them all the senses, rather than to isolate and analyze what we think we feel or at any one time. Through the bird's song, the music of nature calls us to listen to the whole, while the biology of nature has us dissecting the heart in the physical world and helps us to build, repair, and survive. But deep health resides in restoring the one living sense through which we can feel and participate in the web of life. Still, we do not engage the one living sense to simply better ourselves. We do so to enliven and grow the web of life. Through all the introspective practices, though all of the introspective practices can help us better understand who we are, there is another reward for being here authentically. Somehow these virtues of openness, such as truth-telling, integrity, kindness, and love, give us access to our place in the living oneness of the universe. It's taken more than 50 years, but I have learned that experiencing oneness can let us know joy. And joy is not just self-serving, but a sign that the universe is working. Joy is the hum of oneness. Our aim is not just to get it together as an individual, but to be clear, integral cells in the heart of the world that keeps the universe going. Joy is a barometer that life as, oh, okay. Oh my God, what an experience. That keeps the universe going. Joy is a barometer that lets us know that everything is well-tuned. The work of being is to participate in this larger harmony where hearing and feeling are the same thing. The work of being is to inhabit our aliveness. In such moments, we become a conduit for the oneness of life.
It was. Good morning, everyone. So today's inspirational message is from 365 Science of Mind. The topic is truth. God is truth, and truth is God. We also are included in this divine and perfect unity. Therefore, every claim we make about God, the living Spirit, should equally be made about ourselves, because we live and move and have our being in this infinite truth or presence. We must then make every endeavor in simplicity and in truth to identify our personal lives with that one life that forevermore proclaims, I am that I am. There is nothing separate from this one I am. Therefore, I know the truth about myself. I know the truth about everything I do. I know the truth about everyone I meet. And I know the truth about every situation in which I find myself. The truth and the power and the presence and the action of the living Spirit flow through everything I do, say, and think. I do know the truth, and the truth I know frees me and keeps me free. Together, 3 times, we affirm, the truth of the living Spirit flows through everything I do, say, and think. The truth of the living Spirit flows through everything I do, say, and think. The truth of the living Spirit flows through everything I do, say, and think.
I don't mind sitting over there for a while. So, Advent, Pete asked a question about that last week, I think. For those of you who don't know, I was raised Catholic, so I'm used to Advent, but not everybody is. Advent is that time in the Christian year where we observe this time before Christmas, where we are anticipating and preparing for the birth of the Christ child, the Savior. And in Unity, we don't have anything like that, and we also don't we don't consider Jesus Savior because we don't believe there's anything to be saved from, because we are already love. We are born. We are perfect, whole, and complete. We are divine beings. We are made in the image and likeness of God, so there is nothing to be saved from. But there's a lot of wisdom in this observance and in the themes. So there's 4 themes throughout Advent: hope, peace, joy, and love on the 4 Sundays prior to Christmas. And so this is the third Sunday, and joy is the theme. And it's interesting that joy has been coming up for me during the week. Maybe it's my Catholic roots going, remember, remember, remember. And it's interesting. I don't know that I perceive when I'm looking at the world, and sometimes if you're on social media, depending on what you're doing, if you're listening to the news, if we have a perception of joy all the time. And I believe if we're spiritually grounded, and if we're doing our work, if we have a daily meditation practice, I know, there I go again. Those are our tools. Those are our tools. If we're in that practice, if we are dedicating ourselves to a practice that gives us a feeling of peace and serenity and really truly grounds us in life, then I believe that we can have this feeling of joy most, if not all of the time. It's interesting. I'm certainly not a biblical scholar, and I'll tell anybody that. But sometimes Scripture just comes up to me, especially when I'm preparing for a talk. A line from Scripture will show up, and I believe it's the universe, it's divine wisdom helping me prepare for this time together. And Psalm 30, verse 5 is, joy cometh in the morning. And you can take that literally if you want, because there are sometimes, if you're having a rough day or a rough night, you're just waiting for the day to be over and for the sun to shine one more time. Just give me the morning. Let me get through this night. But it doesn't have to be taken literally. So anytime we perceive the light and we acknowledge the light that is always there, I still love this analogy of when a plane, if the weather is bad down here on solid ground, and you're in the storm, when you come up and you fly up over the clouds, you don't see the storm anymore. It's just the sun and the clouds and the blue. And so no matter what's happening down below, maybe where our focus is, there's always light. There's always sun. There is always that which we yearn for. And so this joy that we yearn for all the time is always present. It is always here, because that is the presence that is God. That is the presence that is us, is our light. But we get so focused, like a horse with blinders on what's happening in the immediate, on our circumstances, on the stuff that's hitting the fan, on the things that we're rubbing up against. Remember, you were talking about that, I think, last week. When life rubs up against us and it starts to hurt and it grates on us, that we lose that focus on the light and we lose joy and we fall into despair and we fall into darkness, and we think that that is life. Maybe a dark night of the soul. Even if we have a dark night of the soul, there is still always light. There is still always light. And we can always have a perception of joy. We can always return to joy, even though we have something challenging happening. I think it's important for us to acknowledge and to kind of hold a mental list of our joyful places in life. This is one of my joyful places. Here in front of you, doing what I do, feeling Spirit speak through me and speak as me and speak things that I may not be prepared to hear because I haven't prepared anything to say to you. I'm just waiting for this voice to come through me to you, and to have that experience is a truly joyful, phenomenal thing. When I sing, to hear the accompaniment, often from, because I usually sing in here, from this wonderful gentleman, when I hear that and we have this dance together of voice and piano, that's a joyful place. And there are times when I get lost in a note because I think, oh, and then I don't sing the line correctly because I'm lost in this space that is pure joy. And I think, man, it's happening again. And again, what I do is affirm that there's something singing through me. And then all my nervousness leaves me. I don't have any nervousness. Because it's not, well, it is me singing, but it's me singing as the divine, and the divine singing as me. One of my joy places is sitting outside in my backyard in the morning, even in the cold, wrapped up in my heavy coat, my gloves on, all zipped up, with an old sleeping bag that we have that I found as we were moving. And I unzip that thing and throw it over me, and I sit there and I breathe the cold, brisk air in the morning and just listen to the birds and watch the trees. And look at the water in the pool, wishing I could jump in it. Well, I guess I could, but that's not happening. Because that would not be joyful. And my neighbors would not like to hear the scream that came from my mouth when I hit that water. That would not be joyful for them. But that is one of my happy places. When I'm wrapped up in the hug of a loved one, that is a joyful place. To hear the friends that I love say, I love you. To be able to say, I love you to the people I love in this world, that is a joyful place. One of my commitments to myself lately, and I've been doing it for about 2 months now, I'm really happy about that, is to spend a day, either Wednesday or Thursday, preparing something really healthy to eat that I can warm up throughout the week, especially when I get busy, because there are days when I get really, really busy, and then I'm not eating healthy because I'm stopping someplace to go get something to eat, or I'm eating out at a restaurant. It's just not good, or it's not as good as it could be. So I've made this commitment to myself to do that. Well, I have this service that I use that delivers veggies and fruit to my house. And I forgot to go back in and alter my cart. So I got a bumper crop of veggies and fruit at my house on Thursday. And I love veggies, but I can't eat that much, and I'm the only one in the house eating veggies like that. Just saying, but I digress. So there's no way. I thought, what am I gonna do with all these veggies? And some of them were veggies I don't eat on a regular basis. So I thought, all right, what am I gonna do? I gotta do something. And my other promise to myself was not to waste fresh food. Because if I get busy and it sits in the refrigerator too long, at some point it just becomes stuff for the compost pile. And I have a really expensive compost pile, and I don't wanna keep doing that. Scraps are fine, but whole fruits and veggies, I don't want to do that. So I'm making myself cook. So I had to sit and think, what am I going to do now with all this stuff? So I thought, oh, veggie soup, here we go. I was cutting and washing and preparing veggies for hours yesterday, standing in my kitchen, listening to classical music, which I love. So I got up early because we had women's group yesterday. So I got up, I was in my kitchen at 6 a.m. washing veggies and preparing veggies. And I was not happy because I just wanted to have my slow, wonderful morning, which I have. I have like a 2-hour routine to prepare myself for my day, to get grounded and ready. And this was in the way, but I was not, it was already Saturday. And those veggies came in Thursday morning, so I needed to do something quickly. So I'm standing there in the kitchen preparing and kind of loving it, but kind of having a tantrum at the same time because I really just wanted to be reading a book and doing my meditation, sitting outside. I missed my outside time in the morning, and then all of a sudden it hit me. Why the heck are you aggravated? So many people don't have a bumper crop of food to think about, let alone some of the healthiest choices you could make for yourself. And I switched the tude I had, my attitude, right away. And then I was joyful about that process of fixing that food and smelling the vegetables as they started to cook. Man, did it start to smell good. And then I enjoyed the color of the vegetables and the potatoes. So I was cutting up sweet potatoes, and the orange was just vivid and beautiful, and the basil smelled great, and the cilantro was wonderful, and the spices were wonderful. And it was all just coming together, and I was watching it boil in the pot, and I'm still cleaning. This stuff is cooking. I'm still cleaning and cutting up other vegetables, and I'm going through the refrigerator to see what else can I put in this pot before it goes bad. What else can I do here? And I was finding I got a lot of soup, folks. You could probably all come over. We could all have soup for a week. But it became this wonderful, joyful process. Once I dropped all my judgment about how I didn't want to be, doing what I was doing in that moment. All of those things, the color of the vegetables, the smell of all those glorious foods was there, while I was in my nasty attitude about not wanting to do what I had to do at that moment. All of it was there waiting for me. And it was right there, and it hit me, and it was all over me, and the music was beautiful, and you just can't beat beautiful music. You just can't. So the process became something else. And I was happy about it. And I didn't worry about what am I going to do with all this soup. I'll eat all that soup. I will, and I'll enjoy it. But all we have to do is switch from whatever it is we're having a tantrum about or whatever it is we're in despair about, because sometimes there is truly despair and devastation that we're dealing with. Sometimes there really is pain that we have to deal with, but you don't have to get rid of the pain and despair and the devastation in order to open the door to joy. As humans, we can have complicated emotions at the same time. Sometimes that gives you a real oy vey, like, oh, God, what is all this stuff happening at once? But it also enables us to open the door when all we perceive is darkness and allow light to peek in. So that even though things feel dark in one corner of our minds or our hearts, that we can still acknowledge that there is joy and goodness and love here as well. That my diagnosis has not gone away, but I'm still alive and I'm still doing well. And I still feel good. And I'm able to take myself to the doctor. I have therapies that I can use for my health and for my restoration. That even at the holidays, that we may not have the same people in our lives here in our physical existence, but they are not lost to us. That because there is no real loss in life, that those we love are still here. In another shape and form, but here, maybe closer than they were physically. I absolutely believe that I have greater access to my Father now than I did when he was alive. And I have him all the time. All the time, he's there. It's interesting, I took all of the paper ornaments that had our words on it off the tree the other day. And I'm going to go through them. And like I said last week, we're going to talk about that. We're going to choose new words for 2026. But we're first going to have a ritual about moving away from what we did in 2025 to what's coming up in 2026. So this morning, I looked at that stack and I said, well, I'm going to start to go through them. And I found Mike's word. Yeah. I found Mike's word. And I had a moment. And you talk about complicated feelings, so I felt his not being here physically, but also felt the love that I know that I always had with him, that feeling I had when he looked in my eyes and smiled at me. I had all that in one moment, just from looking at a stack of paper ornaments. So I could feel the physical loss of him, but have the joy of him at the same time. Knowing that that was a special kind of love that I get to have in my life for the rest of my days. Joy still there. Joy always there if we're willing to see it and hold it. One of the songs I'm singing Thursday is a song called Peace by Michael McDonald. I've been loving this song for a long, long time. And one of the lines in the song, he's asking the Christ child to know his joy and to hold his suffering. At the end of every verse, he says, in you I find my peace. In you I find my peace. And he acknowledges that through all of the hard times, all of the years of mistakes that he's acknowledging, and now he says, from now on through all my days until I cross that river into the next phase of life, in you I will find my peace. And if we can open up to peace, we can find joy. If we'll open up that door, joy is waiting for us. We don't have to make it. We don't have to manufacture it. We don't have to go learn something so that we can bring it to us. It's always there waiting, like that. If we take the plane up over the storm, up over the clouds, you go up high enough in the atmosphere, you can get back to seeing the sun and the blue sky. We just have to lift ourselves up. One of the other songs I'm singing, the line is, lift your head and lift your heart. One of my favorite songs from Earth, Wind, and Fire is Keep Your Head to the Sky. Keep your head to the sky. Keep your vision up, the third eye, the spiritual vision. Maybe sometimes we do have to lift our physical eyes from looking at the floor, from looking at the circumstances, from looking at all the stuff that's hitting the fan, and maybe we have to physically raise our eyes to the sky. Maybe so, and that's okay. Do what you got to do. Always do what you got to do to take yourself to a higher vibration. But let yourself acknowledge that there is something always, always, always present. That is peace and joy. That's that joy that cometh in the morning. That's the light that always exists. What are your happy places? What are your places, your experiences of joy that show up throughout the week and through the day? They don't have to be big, huge, spectacular things. They can often be the mundane, like cutting vegetables and making soup. It can be sitting with your pet. It can be mowing the lawn. It can be hearing a friend's voice. It can be reading a book that brings you something that helps you raise your vibration, something that makes you feel good. It can be the taste of the most wonderful thing. My Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream. Ooh, that stuff is good. What is it that takes you to your happy place? What is it that reminds you of joy? And as we walk forward to this time of Christmas, and we're anticipating what Christians call the Christ child and the Savior coming, we are our own saviors. So we are acknowledging this time, and we can celebrate that we are our own saving graces. There's nothing to wait for. There's nothing to anticipate unless you want to anticipate your own recognition of who and what you are and what you've been given. We talked a couple of weeks ago about treasure at our feet, that all of it has been laid before us. All we have to do is pick it up and harness it. Pick it up and harness it. Acknowledge it is there. Remember it is there waiting for you, that you are the thing you are waiting for. If you're feeling lack and you want abundance, you are waiting for your abundant self to show up. If you think you don't have enough love in your life, then you are the love you are waiting for. We must be that love. We must be that loving vibration. Feel the oneness of love with divine love, and all the love you could possibly hold and more will break down your door. In fact, it may come in that moment when you realize you already are it. That you already are it. Whatever it is you think you are without, it's already waiting for you. And in that realization, we find joy. I was giving myself a hard time about something health-wise, and I thought, oh, it's just gone wrong. And I really had a hard time for a couple of days and thought, oh my gosh, what do I have to deal with now? What's going on? What the heck is going on? And I definitely had a couple of days where I was just really grappling with this. And then I was having a conversation with a friend and got some perspective about the whole situation. And it changed everything. It was just like that plane coming up above the storm. And all of a sudden I just had this sigh and went, oh, it was always here waiting for me. Always waiting for me to recognize that it was all well and it was all good. I'm not just okay, I'm great. And in that instance, I forgave myself for not seeing it. And I said to my body, I'm sorry I judged you as less. I'm sorry I judged you as less. I'm seeing your magnificence. You've been here working for me all the time and I didn't see it. Didn't see it. And in that moment of recognition, I went, oh man, right here, right here, right here. Yes. Yeah. And the joy flooded back in. And it was a visceral experience. So I love this reading. by Mark Nepo about listening, and that the sound and vibration are the same thing, that when we hear and feel at the same time. When Carolyn's singing, when Stephan is playing a piano, there are times when I hear something, I feel something in my body. There are times when I either have to close my eyes or my hand wants to lift, or I go, man, that was nice. But it's a visceral feeling. There's a song on my playlist, and whenever it hits a particular note, I have to raise my hands. And I have to, like I'm hitting that note myself, because I feel that note all over my body. It's the most beautiful moment of that whole song. Because I feel it. It's a vibration through me. It's not just coming through my ears. I'm feeling it in my body. It's a whole experience. And then joy is all over me once again, because I'm having this full sensory experience of life, mind, body, spirit, and heart. If we'll let ourselves be there, if we'll let ourselves live that and experience that and know it, that's the treasure at our feet. The treasure at our feet, because it's not really down there. It's all inside of us. It is us. That's the joy. The joy is active. It's flowing through our veins. It is every cell of our body. It is all of life. And if we'll let ourselves feel it in here, we'll see it out there. As within, so without. As above, so below. We can have that joie de vivre, the joy of life, all the time. Even as we're walking around with tears streaming down our faces because we're feeling grief or sadness or something else, we can still have joy peeking in there and holding our grief, our sadness. They can coexist. If we are acknowledging what we are and what God is, there is never total darkness. Never, never, never. The divine holds all things, is all things. We just have to let ourselves see it and be it. Acknowledge it. Know that it is ours. Know that it is us. And you'll carry joy with you everywhere. Everywhere. People will see it all over you. People will start saying, oh my gosh, you just got this glow about you. What'd you do? Did you change your hair? Different makeup? What is it? Or you'll get that other thing. What are you smiling about? Wipe that smirk off your face. Because sometimes you get too happy, it makes people mad. How could you possibly be happy with everything going on? But if you carry the light, if you know yourselves as the light, that's what you do. You carry it. You are it. It gives people permission to also shine their light, to be their joy, to see the joy, to experience joy, and to find the joy in the moment, no matter what else is going on. No matter what else is going on. So joy does come in the morning, but we can have morning all the time. We can have light all the time. There is light all the time. See it and be it and hold it and express it. Let's take this in a meditation. Our joy comes from our oneness. Oneness is joy, joy is oneness. What is it in your life right now that you need to flood with light? What is that dark corner of your experience that is waiting for your recognition of the light and of joy? What judgment about something in your life can you flip the switch on this morning? What have you been judging as less than? Is it a relationship? A financial situation? A friendship? A physical state of your body? Is it your job? They just dislike getting up in the morning and having to go. Can you flip the switch and look at it differently? Can you fly your spiritual plane over the storm into the light, above the clouds? And once in the light, look down on it with different eyes, with a different perspective. Can you find the silver lining? Can you see the stuff that hit the fan as fertilizer? Can you back off of your judgment and just be neutral, perhaps, on the way to joy and acceptance and acknowledging something as the treasure at your feet? Maybe this is the source or the beginnings of whatever energy it is that you're stepping into in 2026. That word that is inspiring you, calling you forward, that energy that is calling you forward into the new year. Maybe something in this situation is inspiring you now. So I invite you to be curious, to open up, to let the divine wisdom and intelligence that is you to guide you forward into a new level of expression somehow, some way, and lead you to something glorious and magnificent that you could not have imagined, that perhaps you cannot see now, but is waiting for you on the other side. In the morning, 2026. Maybe there's something else waiting for you, that if you will lift your eyes above the storm, it will come towards you. hurtle into your life, overflow into your experience. Are you willing to open your arms wide to a new experience? And what might that be? What might that be? Look at whatever it is with fresh eyes, with the eyes of love. With the eyes of strength and power. Seeing and feeling at the same time. Allowing yourself to vibrate with a new energy that is already within you, waiting for you. Waiting for you to acknowledge it and harness it. So let's just take a breath and exhale. Relax into it. Let God, let go. Let God and let go. Relax. Arms open wide. Curious. Knowing that your highest and best is waiting for you. Knowing that you are exactly what you are looking for. What you long for is within you. Your divine nature. Force that is God calling you, beckoning you. To total acknowledgement of your divinity. So we say yes and thank you for new directions, for a fork in the road. For new adventures, for new discoveries within ourselves and each other, opportunities to shine our lights more brightly. And to not only bring more goodness into our lives, but to bring more goodness to the universe and to humanity. As a living, loving light. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.